Okay, now it's time to enter Castlevania. But first things first, here is Dry Bowser. Bowser, after having all of his flesh burned off in New Super Mario Bros. God, that's actually kind of messed up. Yeah, Mario, like, at the end of the first world, just drops Bowser into lava and he dies. And the rest of the game is Bowser Jr. trying to use necromancy to bring back his dead father. So yeah, that's upsetting. As for the spirit battle, we have all the flames on the ground to represent how he had all of his skin burned off. And we have this very pale Bowser to get across the general skeletal theme. So that is that. Anyway, I need a cannonball to destroy that ghost there. But over here we have the Reaper and the Reapettes. These are a pair of enemies appearing in the Kid Icarus series. And they do damage by dashing into you. So for that reason, we have this Ganondorf and these baby dwarfs all swinging sides at me and dashing into me to try and damage me. Generally, you're going to have to be quite careful in this battle because, yeah, if you end up with over 100% damage racked up, those sides will instantly kill you. So, yeah. Anyway, let's turn this lever. That spins that around and gives us access to a playable character. Here, we have the Inspired. The Inspired are some angelic or celestial snake-like enemies appearing in the Bayonetta series. They love to flit around and rely on you using aerial combos to take them down. So, yeah, to get across the idea of those snake-like enemies, we have Mewtwo, whose tail is kind of snake-like. You're going to see a weird pattern of that, of Mewtwo representing snakes. I guess that having Snake represent the snake would be too obvious, so, you know. Anyway, here we have Skullman from Mega Man 4. This Robot Master is one of the few that is specifically built for combat. Now, for this battle, playing as Mega Man is a bad idea because Skullman has a constant reflector on, so most of my moves are not going to work. The reason for that is that when you defeat Skullman, you get the Skull Barrier, which in Smash Bros. 4, when you could customize Mega Man's moveset, allowed you to reflect projectiles with your down B. So getting that point across, we have Samus reflecting everything we use, which is bad for Mega Man, because projectiles are his main method of attack. Whoops. Hence why I'm now kind of focusing on using my forward air and my back air and just chipping away at Skullman's health that way. Yeah, when you play a character with a reflector, Mega Man is just incredibly limited in what he can actually do. Which is a shame, because he's a really good character otherwise. Anyway, fuck's sake, I keep instinctively using my smash, even though it's getting me killed. God damn it. Please stop running away from me. Please just... Holy shit, just let me take away that... Fuck's sake, it's instinctive, I swear, I can't not do it. I keep going for the smash attack. I even then, like, stopped myself using the up air there as I got back on the stage. Because that would also have reflected down and instantly killed me. Oh, my word. Alright, let's never do that again. Here is a mummy. Just a straight-up mummy. So mummies are a standard enemy in the Castlevania series. They're very, very slow, and they kind of stagger around, you know, trying to get up in your business and then throttle you to death. Because that's really all mummies kind of do. Their whole thing is being, like, bandaged zombies and also throttling people. So, yeah. Something you've probably noticed, by the way, is that I'm fighting a lot of the Castlevania spirits with Kid Icarus characters and vice versa. That's because Kid Icarus pulls so heavily from, you know, ancient mythology and, you know, old-fashioned monster stories that, for the most part, their enemies kind of just mesh together. Like Medusa, for example, both series heavily feature Medusa. Anyway, here is Wario. So Wario First appeared in the Game Boy game Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins as the main antagonist. His whole thing is that his name is a pun on Wario and Mario, so the word bad and Mario. He's a bad Mario. Which is to say that he's everything about Mario exaggerated and made more sinister. So, Mario, who goes on all these adventures to save the princess and picks up coins as he goes. Wario's a greedy son of a bitch who goes on adventures for his own self-interests. And, yeah, he's really developed over the years. At first, he was just this, antagonistic, evil take on Mario, right down to having purple and yellow overalls and the same kind of costume. But then the WarioWare series happened. Nintendo took a bunch of the micro games they made for the Nintendo 64 DD and adapted them for the Game Boy using Wario as something of a mascot. And that really caught on. Wario's kind of self-interest and greed gave him this perfect role as a lovable, shitty capitalist, obsessed with making money and ripping people off, which was a great vehicle for a game about games. And yeah, that's Wario's history from there on. He's more of a microgame character than anything else. He does occasionally have his platformers, and they are great when they happen, but yeah. In Smash, Wario is a farting meme machine. Anyway, enough Wario, here is a Zora. Zoras are an aquatic species appearing in the Legend of Zelda series. And they featured quite heavily in the game Majora's Mask, in which Link could put on a Zora mask and turn into one. So for that reason, we're playing on the Terminus stage. Also, it's very watery. It's one of the most watery Zelda stages, not counting the Great Ship. And there you go. Get dunked on, Zora. Generic Zora. Not even a named character. Alright, so, by defeating that spirit, we're now able to backtrack to the beginning of the castle, so that's always nice. Here, we have Alan. Alan is the main protagonist of Culdcept Revolts. So this is a game in the Culdcept series, once again, like Monopoly and Yu-Gi-Oh! Put together. And for this battle, not only do you have the assist trophies, allowing enemies to be summoned in, but Alan is being accompanied by Ridley and K. Rool, who are representing the dragon and the werebore, respectively. So that is that. Sadly, K. Rool never got summoned. Over here, we have Maria Renard. She is a vampire huntress, appearing in quite a few Castlevania games. In Rondo of Blood, in particular, she was actually imprisoned underneath Dracula's castle, so it's kind of perfect where she's been placed here. Anyway, she's something of a beastmaster. She fights using different animals. In particular, she fights with cardinals, so birds, i.e. Falco, dragons, so Charizard, and cats, Incineroar. So that was her fighting alongside her animal friends there. Anything over here? Not yet. That'll be something to backtrack with. So here is the basic framework of the cannon puzzle. You have to turn this little thing here, and that will dictate where the cannonball is going to go. Before we shoot it, though, we got to take down Knuckle Joe. Knuckle Joe is a basic enemy in the Kirby series. He's a little scrappy fellow who, when absorbed by Kirby, can teach him the fighter ability, allowing him to beat the shit out of enemies and even fire Hadoukens. Hence why Knuckle Joe is being played here by a Ryu. You'll also know, given earlier on in the fight, that Knuckle Joe is in fact an assist trophy in this game. When you bring him in, he does what he does best. He runs up to your enemies, kicks the crap out of them, and blows them away. So yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much that fight in a nutshell. I'm actually not doing all too well, all things considered. So, Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have brought a bird to a punch fight. That might have been a bad idea on my part. Thankfully, Final Smash can bail me out. Let's get a cheesy, undeserved victory. There we go. Most of my victories are cheesy and undeserved, but that one in particular felt very, very slimy. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, the key to the puzzle with the ghosts there is to try and eliminate all of them throughout the castle. Doing so unlocks a fighter spirit. I didn't quite suss that at first, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, we have a cannonball to blow that up. And now we have Princess Daisy, as she appears in Super Mario Land 1. That makes Daisy and Wario both characters representing the Mario Land series. Got a lot of mileage out of that for a Game Boy spin-off series, but there you go. Anyway, Princess Daisy, also appearing in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, lest we forget that film, is essentially Sarasaland's counterpart to Princess Peach, and in many of the Mario sports games, she serves as Peach's doubles partner. So, yeah, in terms of her own personality, she's a more boisterous and loud-mouthed version of Peach, and I'd argue she's way more likable as a character for it. Like, Peach is honestly kind of boring, whereas Daisy has this, like, spunky attitude. So, yeah, she obviously didn't in the original game. All she did in Mario Land was just kind of appear at the end of stages. But the sports games are what really fleshed her out and made her own character. Anyway, she got added into Smash Ultimate as a newcomer, although she also highlighted the new Echo Fighter designation. So she does fight one-to-one exactly the same as Peach. And, yeah, she just happens to have her own character slot because she's just different enough of a character to not be an alternate costume. Although in previous Smashes, she was just one of Peach's alternate color schemes. Anyway, just spamming the most broken Final Smash in the game and taking another undeserved victory. That is Daisy. She's a cool character. I'm happy she's in. It felt weird her not being in when Peach was. Now we just need to get Waluigi in here, and we've got all of the doubles partners. Anyway, running back to the beginning and refreshing. That brings all the spirits back, but also gives me back my cannonballs. So yeah. There's a cannonball up there. Just want to run back up and grab that again. Where am I going? I'm not going that way. There's nothing over that way. Boosh. That's you dead. And we run back up here. Turn the lever. Sorry for showing you this again, but this this particular dungeon is quite easy to get a little bit confused with what you're supposed to do in it. Grabbing that cannonball, taking it down here. When I really should be taking it up there to blow up that other spirit, but my current, line of thinking is the more cannonballs, the better. So we take down those two spirits, allowing us a treasure chest and also another cannonball. Lovely. Some skill spheres. And moving on up in the world, we have this little doohickey here. So, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to have it so the cannonball blows up those two. So if I use the topmost cannon, it's going to ping off at a perfect 90-degree angle, and those two are dead. Cool beans. Alright, so let's run up here. Oh, another cannonball. Fantastic. Any treasure chests over here? I think there was. Yep, there it is. And some snacks. Honestly, the treasure chests really aren't worth getting for the most part in this campaign. It's just my instinct and my desire to never leave a chest unopened that compels me to get them all. Anyway, here we have the Creature and Flea Man. So, Castlevania's take on Frankenstein's monster. So for that reason, we have the electric floor to represent the monster being animated with electricity. It's alive and all that. But the Mii fighter isn't really Frankenstein, it's Jason Voorhees. So that's a weird representation there. I guess it works. I guess it's just another homage to another horror monster who is very Frankenstein-esque. But whatever, who cares? Anyway, running back down here, we have another character. It is Ridley. Ridley is the leader of the Space Pirates in the Metroid series. He murdered Samus's parents and is Samus's nemesis throughout the series. And unlike characters like Bowser, who, you know, you defeat them, but they just come back, when Ridley dies, he full-on dies. So any future appearance of Ridley you see is either a biomechanical reconstruction or straight-up necromancy taking place, making Ridley a constant source of horror and unrest throughout the series. Like you expect him to be in most Metroid games, if not all, but it's always disturbing seeing how they're going to bring him back. So yeah. Other M may have had the most, like, comical interpretation of Ridley, though, which shows you a baby Ridley, in which he's a weird little fluffy chicken monster. So that's just his species' life cycle, I guess. He goes from a weird little fluffy chicken, referred to as Lil Birdie, and then becomes terrifying dragon monster. Sakurai previously went on record saying he couldn't get in Smash Bros. Because he was too big. He went back on that, and I am thankful for that. Here is Akuma. Akuma is the super powerful secret boss appearing at the end of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. If you essentially perfected a bunch of the matches and played flawlessly without having to continue, you'd end up fighting Akuma, who, for all intents and purposes, is a more powerful, more devastating, but also more fragile take on Ryu and Ken. So yeah, within the lore of Street Fighter, Akuma is very interesting. He is basically a demonic fighter, and yeah, he has moves that canonically kill people. Like, he drags you to hell and kills you. And when he does so, the logo on his back, which reads 10, starts glowing. 10 in Japanese folklore represents immortality. So yeah, Akuma is cool as fuck. And it makes sense him being a 4-star spirit. Here, we have Hugh Baldwin. Hugh Baldwin is your sword-wielding ally in the Castlevania game, Circle of the Moon, for the Game Boy Advance. God damn it, Hitler in a cage. I swear to God. Anyway, throughout that game, Hugh becomes very jealous of the protagonist, Nathan Graves, because despite feeling it's his birthright to use the legendary vampire killer whip, it's Nathan who ends up getting it. And at one point, Dracula takes advantage of this jealousy and uses it to possess Hugh. When you inevitably have to fight against Hugh in the game in order to break Dracula's hold on him, he spends the battle leaping around really high. So for that reason, we have this Marth who likes to soar through the air at high speeds. Or at least with, you know, slightly increased jump height. So yeah. Anyway, that malarkey absolutely doesn't faze Dr. Mario, so goodbye. See you later. And that's another cannonball for me. Lovely stuff. Alright, so here is Draug. Draug is a knight appearing in the Arcanian Fire Emblem games, the Marth games. He, despite having the ugliest, like, design, just bright green hair and bright blue armor, what the fuck, he is an incredibly powerful general. If you keep using him, being a knight class, he ends up having ridiculously high attack and defense stats, just becomes a tank, hence why K. Rool is playing him, a very tanky character in himself. And yeah, when you promote him, pretty much anyone who faces off against him one-on-one is going to lose, unless they're a mage, in which case they'll just tear through his armor. Anyway, here we have death. Just death, as it appears as a concept in Castlevania. Do I need to tell you what death is? It's the slow looming thing that comes for us all, and is represented very differently in all different mythologies and cultures. Castlevania makes him a skeleton with a scythe. Also, he murdered Luigi in Simon Belmont's reveal trailer, so that was sick. That was pretty amazing. That's something nobody would really have expected, so yeah. Anyway, we have a Boo, speaking of Luigi. Boos are basic enemies appearing in the Mario series. They're little ghosts usually appearing in haunted houses who will only approach you if you're looking away from them. If you look at them, they get all shy and cover their eyes. Hence why we have invisibility. There are also very major components in the Luigi's Mansion series. Here is Dark Pits. Dark Pits is an incomplete clone of Pits created in Kid Icarus Uprising by Pandora's Mirror. Pandora's Mirror is essentially supposed to perfectly replicate whatever looks into it, turning it into a dark clone and a servant of the Underworld Army. However, Pit's experience with said mirror led to an incomplete creation. So Dark Pit isn't evil, per se. He's just the world's biggest self-interested edgelord. He's the most Shadow the Hedgehog character since Shadow the Hedgehog. So, yeah, he's kind of the fucking best. He appears as an Echo Fighter of Pits in Smash Ultimate, and they fight pretty much one-to-one exactly the same, except for one move, the Side B. Pit's Side B brings out a, fire attack, and Dark Pits brings out an electric attack that hits at a different angle. Also, their final smashes. Pits is the Lightning Chariot, Dark Pit pulls out a fucking gun and shoots you. Because of course he does. Of course he does. Dark Pit. He didn't even get his own announcement trailer in Smash 4. He just, appeared at the end of Palutena's trailer, and she, made a scoffing comment about how he just crashed her party. Love it. So, yeah. Anyway, here is Kalista. Kalista is one of the party characters appearing in the last story, fighting alongside Zale. So, much like the Zale Spirit battle we had earlier, we are fighting both Zale and Kalista. Although this fight in particular doesn't have the gathering effect where if you battle for too long, you get absolutely bodied by Zale's ability. This particular stage is also quite interesting because it is representing the assaults on Lazuli's castle from the last story. So yeah. Sadly, these are the only two last story representations in Smash Ultimate at the very least, so yeah. Who knows, maybe I'll have to put my foot in my mouth later. Maybe there'll be a newcomer to represent that property. Who knows? Anyways, let's continue on through this very, very lengthy goddamn castle. What we're going to do now is I'm going to turn that thing around. Kadonk. And I'm going to shoot off of that little turning point there. Blow that up. And now I can progress. Oh my god. This stage is one hell of a nightmare to navigate. I mean, it makes sense. It's representing Dracula's castle. A castle so labyrinthian and sprawling that, it inspired the Metroidvania genre. But still, wow. Anyway, here's Ken. Ken is the most Echo Fighter out of all the Echo Fighters. He is Ryu, but red and American. And in the original Street Fighter game, if you started the campaign as a two-player match, so to speak, player 2 would play as Ken, and if player 2 won that bout between Ryu and Ken, then they would go on to play the rest of the campaign as Ken. That was the only way to play as him, was to just be player 2. Later incarnations of the Street Fighter series, as it grew and developed, started to deviate Ken more as a character though, focusing more on his kicks than his punches, and giving him some fire-based moves, a fiery Shoryuken. And that translates perfectly into Smash, in which Ken is exactly the same as Ryu, but with a few fiery variations. His Shoryuken being the most common one. I remember playing tons of Street Fighter 4. Not competitively, I wasn't that good. But yeah, Ken took over that game. Every online match was against Ken. Everyone was just in love with Ken. They didn't want to be Ryu, because he's the main character. That's too obvious and boring. But they will be the character that is slightly different Ryu. So yeah. Anyway, Ken was revealed alongside Incineroar. So, keeping up with the whole theme of Echo Fighters not really getting their own, you know, time to shine. Their own place in the spotlight as far as Smash reveals are concerned. But that's fine, because seeing Ken and Incineroar fight was badass. Here is Leon Belmont. Appearing in Lament of Innocence for the PS2, Leon is the first Belmont chronologically. In that game, he actually creates the Vampire Killer Whip that every Belmont uses. And, yeah, that's that. Here's the Happy Mask Salesman. Appearing in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, the Happy Mask Salesman is kind of your go-to guy for getting all of the freakish transformative masks you get in that game. And yeah, that fight was on the Clock Tower to represent Clock Town, and it was a timed battle because Majora's Mask is a game where you're constantly battling against a 3-day time limit, else you get killed by the moon. So yeah, this particular section threw me. This section confused me so much when I first ran into it, because it's not made apparently clear what you're meant to do. So you have the gears there, you can climb up the gears, but you know, you do still want to get rid of all those dark spirits that are in the way. So, you know, you naturally think, okay, I'm just going to shoot through the gears. But then even then, how do I get over to the other side? That doesn't make sense. There's no way across that doesn't involve killing those two spirits there. But even then, you'd have quite a fall off of the gears. So how do you progress? So this was me just trying in vain to figure this out, despite having done this once before, years ago. That's getting rid of those. Cool. But I still can't really go forward there. There's no ladder downwards, so... Fuck. Oh, okay. Right, that's what I'm supposed to do. So I wasted all my cannonballs just now. Cool. I've got to go back and reset now that I know that. Now that I know I can do that. But first I may as well go over and... Can I even? I can't even with the treasure chest. Oh my god. Oh no, nor can I get that spirit. Oh, confusion. Here's a werewolf. A Varwolf. A man becoming beast when the moon is full. Another classical movie monster, or monster of folklore, who is represented in the Castlevania series. Representing the werewolf, we have Wolf, who is an anthropomorphic wolf. I guess that's the closest thing to a werewolf. Is an anthropomorphic wolf. And, yeah, there's not really much to this fight. We're fighting on a stage with a big goddamn moon in the background, the Luigi's Mansion stage, because, of course, where else are you going to battle a werewolf than on the night of a full moon? And, yeah, this fight's not all too tricky, all things considered. You'll notice the character I'm currently playing as is Zacian and Zamazenta, two very good doggos from Pokemon Sword and Shield. So... Doggos versus wolves. Let's go. How are you not dead yet? I have nearly killed you twice now. Be dead. There you go. There goes the Varwolf. Alright, so I could even ricochet a cannonball off of that. Right, okay. Oh, I can reach that chest. Just needed to go at it with an awkward angle. Alright. Well, now I don't have to worry about that anymore. Don't want to progress yet, because there's too much stuff to do. Some time passes, and I eventually figure out what I'm meant to do after a little bit more fumbling than I care to admit. So we blow up that. That allows us to progress at the end. We then blow up the gears, which incidentally takes down those spirits that were both in the center, saving me a cannonball. That final cannonball I can use to take down that final spirit by pinging it off of here and taking it down. Oh my gosh. Alright, that took me way too long. Here is Robin. Robin is the main protagonist of Fire Emblem Awakening. Robin is actually a customizable character, so doesn't actually have to be called Robin, nor has to look the way that he or she does in Smash. But yeah, Robin is the first Fire Emblem representative in Smash who represents a player avatar. Player avatars first started in Fire Emblem 7, in which you played as a unit, a tactician, but never actually got involved in fights. Fire Emblem New Mystery of the Emblem, the remake of Fire Emblem 3, which itself was a remake of 1, allowed you to also create an avatar character. And Robin is the one who made it something of a series trend. Robin, within Awakening, is also the vessel for the Dark Dragon Grima, and the best ending of that game has Robin sacrifice themselves. So yeah, holy shit. Some heavy stuff. Here is Alucard. This is where me watching the Castlevania Netflix series, which is an adaptation of Castlevania 3, finally comes to fruition, even if the Alucard represented here is the Alucard who appears in Symphony of the Night. So Alucard is the son of Dracula. He's the half-human son of Dracula, making him a Dampier. And, yeah, the fight here in particular has us fighting against Alucard alongside Trevor Belmont, who Alucard teams up with in Castlevania 3 and the Netflix series. So, yeah, Alucard appears in Smash as an assist trophy and is easily the most dangerous one. He will absolutely fuck your shit up if you don't quickly deal with him. And that's what most of this fight boils down to. Get rid of Alucard so you can take down Trevor. Because Alucard will not give you any quarter if you leave him unprovoked for any amount of time. Anyway, fun fact about Alucard as an assist trophy. He can't appear in the Wii Fit Trainer stage. Because there's a giant mirror in the background of that stage. And being a Dampier, he can't appear in a mirror. I love that detail. That is absolutely fantastic. Smash Ultimate never fails to surprise me with fun little details like that. So yeah. Anyway, Alucard appears in Castlevania 3 as an ally character and teams up with Trevor in the final battle to take down Dracula, which is why Alucard is so very close to Dracula in this campaign. On top of that, Alucard also appears as a playable protagonist in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which I don't think it's controversial to say is the best game in the whole series. It's a fucking fantastic game. Cemented Metroidvanias as a genre. Holy shit, it was a good time. And proved that PlayStation 1 games did not need to all be weird polygonal messes. You can still use sprites and they would actually age better. Anyway, that fight was very strenuous. There it goes. Victory for me. So, here's the man himself. Head of Dracula's castle. Who the fuck else is it going to be? It is Dracula Vlad Tepes. Based on the character from Mary Shelley's novel. Not Mary Shelley, that's Frankenstein. Bram Stoker's novel, Dracula. Dracula is a very interesting boss in this game. This is, of course, the Symphony of the Night Dracula that we're currently fighting. Hence why he, you know, did that whole thing getting off his throne, and we're fighting in this very specific room. But yeah, you can only hurt him by hitting him in the head. The rest of his body is straight up invincible, and you have to spend most of your fight against him just dodging his magical attacks. Thankfully, not too tricky. Not very tricky at all. We've nearly beaten him, in fact. So yeah, clearly the easiest boss in Smash Ultimate. Not much more to him than that. That's Dracula for you. I'm a little embarrassed that I even took that hit. That could have been perfect. So that's that. Psych! Here is Dracula in his true form as he appears in Castlevania Rondo of Blood and in Symphony of the Night after you've bested his human-like form. this shit's fucking ridiculous. He has so many quick, brutal, and instant killing attacks. If you're not playing a heavy character, like, he can easily just pap you off the edge. Those little purple skulls are the bane of my goddamn life. Yeah, fuck. So yeah, no, Dracula is a lot more than he actually lets on when you first battle him. Dracula as a character within Castlevania has all kinds of interesting lore about him, because while there are different, you know, timelines within Castlevania's lore, one constant is Dracula. He's just always there as a reoccurring antagonist who, even if you take him out and dismember all of his corpse parts and scatter them and do everything you can to get rid of him, cultists will find a way. They'll find a way of reassembling him and resummoning him and bringing him back to life. So, Dracula's reign of terror spans over like 1,000 years within Castlevania, with each game in the series, or each major installment, taking place in like different centuries. And that's incredible. I love that. Thankfully, the Vampire Killer, the Belmont's weapon of choice, is perfectly designed in order to combat him. So, yeah. Now, there was one particular installment of Castlevania, or two in fact, which kind of deviated from the whole slaying Dracula thing in quite a big way. Those being Aria and Dawn of Sorrow. But we'll get more into those after we have upgraded this 3-star Dracula Spirits. You'd think that, you know, the upgrade would be to the monster form, but no, that is also a 3-star. So what does Dracula upgrade into? The answer made me smile. It's a really cool, it's a cool upgrade. Might be my favorite upgrade in the game. So yeah. Anyway, that is Dracula's castle defeated. Except for one thing. There is one spirit that I have missed because I'm a massive goober, and I actually didn't suss this out until, like, nearly finishing this LP. Like, I was right in front of the final boss when the realization hits, and I had to run all the way back like a complete goddamn idiot. So, time to jump to the future, I guess. So I didn't destroy all the spirits. I forgot that last one, and, yeah. There would have been an extra fight before Dracula, right after Alucard, if I hadn't forgotten that, which would have made a lot of sense when you find out what character that is. It's the character who Alucard also teams up with to defeat Dracula. Richter Belmont from Symphony of the Night. In actuality, Richter actually first appeared in Rondo of Blood, but it was in Symphony that Richter, freed from possession, had the best exchange in any video game ever. An exchange that I'm just going to play in its entirety right now because I fucking want to.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you!
Holy shit, that's amazing. Just the best, honestly. In terms of his appearance in Smash, Richter functions exactly the same as Simon. He is an Echo Fighter, and he even appeared in Simon's trailer. That said, the one difference is that his Holy Water attack has slightly different, less fiery properties, and that's it. See you later.